Welcome back to comics, to Hot Comics TV. All right, let's talk about blame. All the blame's on you people. No, I'm joking. Okay, so, oh goodness, this came out back in the 90s, I dare to say. And I'm being aware of these series, but I just recently got into this because of the dimensions of this book. This is a lot thicker, as you can sort of see, larger scale. So it's more enticing and more interesting to have something like at this scale. As we all know, this is a normal American comic, and this is good. This is how all Japanese manga should be published. But anyway, cost efficiency, I guess. Again, this is something that I've just got into because of the dimensions of these books. So this is a treat for me to sort of go over it. I read it not long ago, might have been a month ago when I got this and I started reading on it, and I sort of felt that I needed to talk about it a little bit. I would like to know what people think of blame or blam or however they like to pronounce it. Obviously, this is a cyberpunk post-apocalyptic sort of dystopia that these characters are sort of going through, and there is very little dialogue with the whole notion of the context of the story. I felt at the very beginning that this was a little lazy, but then I sort of realized what Nihei was trying to sort of achieve with his work. So yeah, anyway, let's just dig into this. I like certain aspects of his character design, and there's other things that I sort of find that I don't know, he's a little too stylized maybe for my taste. I feel also Norosawa's influence on his work, maybe because they're Japanese. Maybe this is how they digest, and then they sort of like do their stylization of character design or character artwork. Because I feel that they also borrow a lot from Giger's work. I guess a lot of people are influenced by Giger, and they've been exposed because it's been so long that material's been exposed on the market for so long. So it's very spare on dialogue. This sort of like journey that we feel that this character's going through. This Kyrii, I think Kyrii. I think Kyrii. Kyrii's character is what do you call it? Going through. Doesn't say much. My hiccup with it is that he sort of has a little bit of all the characters look kind of the same, but I guess that's his style. That was one of the things that I had a little bit of an issue back in the 90s. I never bought any of these when it was being published originally. I just could not get into it. But now that I'm looking at it, I see the charm, and I see why so many people like the work. Obviously, he's using a lot of mechanical pens. He's working with douches and sepia tones and doing a lot of scratchy stuff on the surface with it to break down the layers and textures of the panels. His narrative, it can get a bit murky, at least on this book. I read the other two so far as well, volume 2 and 3. And you can sort of see that the story is a little bit. I mean, the action scenes mostly are better constructed, and which is not easy. Doing action and doing motion at the same time, it's one of the most complicated things that you can ever do when you're doing a comic book. So, I do enjoy what I've read so far. I'm intrigued, and I got my questions about everything because very little elaboration about things. There's explanations and there's also flashbacks to things. I don't want to spoil this either. I'm here recommending this book. I'm recommending this series to everybody because I've been converted from not enjoying it or maybe brushing it off back in the 90s to me now sort of going, yeah, this has got a lot of it's got a lot of good. It's not a generic sort of manga or anything. I'm actually enjoying what he's doing. So this is where I'm sort of making comparisons to Nirasawa's work from Phantom Core, because he's doing kind of this, I don't know, cyberpunk, dark, gothic sort of machinery, androids, and because there's nothing. They're gonna look at like a visceral sort of look to it. I mean, this is very Giger-esque, and he's managed to make it his own. That's the charm that he's bringing to the table here. What Nihei is what do you call it, bringing to the table, that he's actually bringing the character design, and I'm a bit more of stick in the mud about that sort of thing, the anatomy and all of that. That's another thing that I sort of have an issue, and I sort of felt that this was his first manga. I don't know, I was questioning a bunch of things, but I do enjoy what he's doing. The epic scale of the world, it's also well applied onto the story, so that's something else that I'm sort of appreciating. It's not as in detail what Otomo does on his manga, like on Akira, but he's giving you depth and scale to the world that these characters are living in, and it's very dystopic, very, very, very yeah, it's got a very dark tone to the whole where these sort of characters are living in. I mean, there's no regard to life to where you see these. Yeah, but anyway, just going on about it. This is it's a good story. This is one of the things that I sort of had a little bit of an issue. Sort of I had to go back and forward, sort of going like, what's happening on these panels? I don't understand. The one thing, this is probably the one that I had the most issues with, because I know that he shoots with his gun. This gun's crazy. The gun that Kyrii has, he just shoots, and then the thing just like, it's got so much momentum, so much power, that it just pushes him off. It's very cartoony. It got a very cartoony sort of feel to that weapon, and it has a lot of power. But anyway, going back to it, to this sequence, this other character loses her arm while he kind of clips her a bit, and then she gets a gun, and then this happens. So it's like a massive hole, but I had to go back and forward. Just didn't understand this. Anyway, enough of me complaining about giving criticism. I shouldn't be doing that. The guy's accomplished. It's almost a Bible of a volume. I mean, you can sort of see the amount of work that's gone into this. You have to kind of get adjusted or try to understand what he's trying to accomplish with his character designs and his story. So, yeah, good stuff. Anyway, this is like a very sad sort of world, because these people are living in this Mad Max-like world, and again, there's not much value for life. And Kyrie's got his agenda, he's got his mission that he's trying to accomplish. So from what I gather, they're looking for this network, this kind of like highway of information network, and on that network has a lot of allowances. It gives you the ability to manufacture, create, and do all sorts of things. So they're looking for people from a before time. This is quite an old world where these characters are sort of living in. So it's very interesting what he's trying to tell us with very little description in the actual book. So it's very cool, very accomplished. Anyway, this I did not understand what these creatures were about and how he's just sitting down there and not being faced about anything. I'm not going to get into details. I'm going to talk about the second book because I was a bit impressed of what happened on the second volume of this story. So it's like Blade Runner, right? Like they're androids, but they're very human-like. So I guess that philosophical question of what makes us human, it's coming into play into these sort of series as well. Philip K. Dick is what do you call it? Influence, I guess. I mean, you would have to be influenced by all of those works. The Neuromancer, all of that cyberpunk. Amazing work that came out in the 80s, late 70s. His work is very sketchy, very organic, and makes it work, especially for the mechanical aspect of things. If you didn't know what was happening in the narrative of the story, you would go like, "Who's that character now?" So that does have my hiccups with the character design, but yeah. But overall, if you're looking for a story where you want to sort of sink your teeth in, that's nice. This is something to, collect. It's not very clear at the very start, but then if you go back and forward, you will get you'll get more out of it. Yeah, I don't know what he's eating on this. I sort of felt like he's eating like chocolate bars because it comes in this massive briefcase sort of thing. He's just eating it. God knows how long that's been there for. I think back in the 90s, I would have not really. Well, I was aware of these, but I would have never really come in and collected these. These larger scale collections are good because he exposed more to the craftsmanship of his works. I think if this was half the size, you would lose a lot of this detail. And on this journey that Kill is taking, it's like one after the next, sort of like beatings that he cops. So it's quite. At the very beginning, I was like, "Whoa, how can he handle all of this?" And anyway, you sort of find out later. Yeah, this was quite sad, this section. And nobody knows. if humanity is still out, like they're all detached from each other. There's pockets of civilization everywhere, and see, for example, this, I don't know if this is a foggy or ocean or what's happening, and this character just tells him that this is what he came from, and he's been there now for years on end. It's, yeah, quite sad. Yeah, this got a European flavor to things. It would be interesting to see these manga being colored up with these color palettes, because even with the coloring that he's applying here, everything still looks a lot of very concrete, like jungle, like a concrete city, but of gargantuous scale. So he rescues this kid here, but I don't know what the deal is with these people, if they're like humanoids, androids as well, what's going on, and they're all part of, they got this kind of clan, this sort of tribal, everything very tribal in this dystopic future. And then these other pockets of people that are kind of like mutated, like yeah, see, it's like, and here they're working like it's like a normal sort of like depot, factory, distribution center, but yet these isolated pockets and people that haven't seen people in years on end, and it kind of bizarre, the bizarre world they get. Yeah, anyway, his depiction of this world, it's interesting to say the least. Very large complexes, and they call it as a strata because they keep on going up on to other layers of where they're receding or where they're living in. This one was kind of very reminiscent to Metropolis, and like you see these sort of guard, and this is where the part that to me, like, this is where I finally got converted when, like, wow, what he's doing here is like something special. So this looks to me like something out of Metropolis, because you know the slavery of the slaving people to do this hard labor, all these people's, you know, existence just to do hard labor like in Metropolis. And look at this, that these people got captured, and he's like, what's that about? And, oh yeah, they weren't listening to the rules. This dude is just like sitting there again, another guy with, like, they got these gray uniforms. Yeah, so there's not real, I cannot see people living a normal life. Everybody's sort of like slaved on these, snared by this sort of society, whatever dichotomy that they're living in. Yeah, they're asking for the weapon, and they know that he's got this weapon, the gun, the crazy gun. I like to call it crazy gun. Yeah, interesting characterization. And again, the gun, it's like this thing looks like very square, bulky thing. Doesn't look like a gun. It looks like something made out of wood or something. Yeah. Oh yeah, he takes his corpse up and... Anyway. All right. We'll visit the next one. What I want to do is like read it and read it again, the whole series, and then sort of have a better grasp of what Nihei was trying to sort of put this together in. But then again, here again, this is how epic on scale things are, because they're going up to another strata of the structure. And from what I was, who was it talking about this? But anyway, somebody was talking about this. It was sort of saying it's the size of Jupiter or something. It's like all from Earth to Jupiter is like a massive structure or gargantuan thing that could be even infinite, and humanity's been building and building and building and building and building. But anyway, here you can sort of see that. Anyway, that was Blame or whatever you want to say it. The first book, the Master Edition book. Do I recommend this? Yes, I do. So do yourself a favor and go pick it up if you haven't read it. If you're being on the on the fence like I have been for so long. And there's a lot of good stuff. Sometimes you might be confused about what's happening because of the composition on the page, but once you go back and forward, and you're like, okay, this is what he's trying to do, you'll start enjoying it. So, and there's a lot of good stuff that he's done on this. Anyway, thank you so much for watching, and please like and subscribe and all those good things, and thank you for watching. Take care. Bye bye.